Okay, thank you for the introduction. This presentation is about the Restore Mine project, which is a project funded by the Spanish Ministry of Science. They call 2021, I think so. We are just starting the project. So here we have participants from several researchers from several institutions in Europe, like France and Austria, and also from the University of Salamanca, together with us in Valladolid, which are here is where we are the coordinators, the project leaders. This project is led by Carolina Martinez Ruiz. So now, the motivation of this project is that the ecosystems are basically dynamic. They change constantly. However, sometimes they change forced by the human activities. And among these activities, some of those activities are non-sustainable. One of the most important examples is the mining activities. Here we have the change or the impact that we have because of the mining, the coal extraction in northern Palencia. We can see how the forests change over time. Talking about mining, it's important to know that the type of mining and the type of extraction is really important. Every type of activity has their own impacts. Even when they have common issues, they have particularities. Among them, we have basically two types: the open cast mining for surface coal deposits, and then the shaft mining for those coal deposits that are deep on the ground. But as I told you, there are many impacts associated to the mining activity. It will depend on the situation, but we have, for example, the acidity, the heavy metals, the land occupation is really important. And those impacts depend, as I told you, on the type of extraction, for example. It tends to be much important, the impact of the open cast mining. But that doesn't mean that all the extraction in one area depends on one type of mining. Here, for example, we have the San Luis mine, which is a company that extracted coal in northern Palencia near Guardo and combined one type of mining with the other one, the underground mining and the surface with open cast mining. Extraction. They tend to, the methodology or what they did is basically they open a gap to extract coal, and then when they finish the extraction, they open the next one. So the mining waste disposals were moved to the open pit that was let's say, empty. So when they restored the shape of the mountain, it was just covered by soil, vegetal soil, and then it receded, applied some amendments and stuff like that. But that doesn't mean that the soil is fully recovered. And indeed, there are also mines that haven't been restored at all. So now we have soils, even in the reclaimed area, the restored area, soils that have many problems, like poor structure, we have nutrient imbalances, we have problems with the drought, we have simplified ecosystems, basically, by really pioneer stages of the ecosystem succession. But we also saw that in these areas that plant-to-plant and plant-soil interactions are really important. we saw that the facilitation is a very important mechanism in these areas. And we saw that shrubs, for example, can play a very important role for the recruitment of species like oaks and also for the grasslands. You will hear later some of the two talks about this. But the issue is that the shrubs can act as engineering species, modifying the conditions, for example, the microclimate, for example, the soil. And if they do this, that means that we can use them to improve our restoration because the soil is not fully recovered, or let's say, it's not fully functional. But the problem is that we have to study the processes much more until we can really apply it properly. So these are basically the aims of our proposal. Is to help the Pyrenean oak and also we have also the sessile oak there to recolonize the mines using those shrubs, and we want also to improve the management of the grasslands there. So the project focuses on different areas of study or different components of the ecosystem, like oaks, grasses, the soil microbial community, the soil invertebrates, or the soil physicochemical properties, sorry. But also, we focus on the mechanisms that explains these relationships. We are studying the generation of microclimate, the increase of fertility, the role of shrubs as physical barrier for herbivores, and we are studying also the amelioration of the soil caused by these shrubs. And then, how we do this? For example, regarding the microclimate regeneration, we have meteorological stations that are reporting data from air and from soil. And we are focusing the change over time of these variables and the shrubs effects, locating sensors below and outside the canopy. We also want to know about the soil properties. So we will properly analyze, and we are doing it indeed, physicochemical properties and soil water properties in this area. As I told you before, also over time, analyzing these changes over time and taking into account the management and taking into account the shrub effects. And also we are studying the soil microbial communities and the invertebrate communities. Sometimes directly through metagenome analysis and also through enzymes and also through respiration and other processes. We are focusing on the forests and the restoration work, restoration works. We have studies using plants that were planted there, plants from oak, sessile oak, and Pyrenean oak. We are comparing their physiology, their growth, their survival in different conditions below and outside canopies, a canopy of shrubs. We also are studying the natural regeneration, and this is including the production of seeds, the dispersal, the germination, the seedling establishment, and their mortality afterwards. And we are also focusing our job on pastures, looking at the diversity and on the role of the shrubs generating heterogeneity and other stuffs, and also the soil change. And we want to also focus on the management, for example, the conservation of the diversity of these areas, how compatible is the restoration with this use, which the use of cattle, for example. So this diagram is representing the chaos. We are studying the different components, the climate, the shrubs, how they relate how are the feedbacks, the relationships among them, and the processes involved in these relationships. How is the process? Obviously, this is a huge effort, and we have to do the study fragmenting for some areas, but then putting this all together to understand. So what's happening, I mean. So as I told you, this is funded research that has started last year. We have plenty of time to finish this, but we have good results now, and I expect that you appreciate the works of the people that is coming later to explain you some of the stuff. So thank you so much.